Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. Hopefully everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, if you could just let me know in the chat, that would be greatly appreciated. I see you there, Tom. How's it all going? Yeah, thank you, Tom. Thank you, thank you. Just give a few minutes for people. Hey, Christina, good to see you. Right, well, we're at the top of the hour, 1 minute past actually. So, oh, Daniel, welcome, Dan. Good to see you. Okay, well, it looks like people are still coming on, so we'll just hold fire for a few minutes. Hope everyone's been having a great Sunday, and I know we've just enjoyed a webinar by Christina Irvin about Google Plus. If anyone's interested in that, they should definitely hook up with Christina. It was fantastic, so I really appreciate that. Righty ho. Okay, well let's get into it. I'm going to switch over now and put my screen share on, so I'm going to get rid of the chat, and that way it'll give a bigger screen. Hey Cliff, good to see you. I'm just going to get rid of the chat now. So hopefully you'll see my screen starting to appear. I'll just give it a few minutes to take effect, so hopefully now you can all see my screen. Great stuff. Okay, well, as you all know, we're here to learn about YouTube marketing for beginners. So this is going to be a basic overview for everyone that's thinking about getting into YouTube marketing for their business, or has just started and wants to get an overall idea of how they can use YouTube and video marketing in with their marketing plan as a whole. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time just to introduce myself to you. As you know, my name's Clive Jeffrey. I'm from New Zealand, but I've been living in St. Augustine, Florida since November last year. I moved over here with my family. Now, the connection with America came through me meeting my wife back in the early 80s while I was backpacking around the world. I met my wife in Ocean City, Maryland, of all places, and I took her back to New Zealand as a souvenir. And we've been coming back to the US on an annual basis to see friends and family. And the last trip back, our children, who are both young teenagers, decided they wanted to go to school here in America. So we thought, you know, what the hell, you only live once. So we sold up everything in New Zealand and moved over to the US, and we're loving it here so far. In New Zealand, I've always been involved in the printing industry. I started my own printing and graphic design business along with my wife back in 1990, and I just sold that business in May of last year. And through that time, we're basically dealing with advertising agencies and blue chip accounts. So I had a great deal of experience with marketing, dealing with companies, helping them produce their marketing material, and getting effective campaigns going. So our role was to work with the advertising agencies when they had a campaign, TV starting on a certain date. Our job was to deliver and make sure that all the printing components arrived in the marketplace in time to allow the promotion to go ahead. So that's my marketing background. As I say, I've been self-employed since 1990. Grew the business to 7-figure annual turnover. So now just transferring those skills onto the online world over the last 6 months or so. So this is refreshing for those who are just getting into this type of thing to know that I'm fairly new to the technology, but I have a vast experience in the marketing itself, so it's just adapting to that, and these skills are all learnable, so that's a great thing to know. So enough about me. Let's move on to the crux of what we're here to talk about, and that is why video marketing. There's two main reasons basically that we want to get into video marketing. The first one is branding, and the second is to provide the value to our prospective clients and marketplace. So we start off with looking at branding. This is where we can use video to show our lifestyle, to show our personalities. It helps us get followers that know, like, and trust you. The old adage that people join people, they don't join businesses, and this is where video really comes into its own. You can get your personality across there. If you working consistently with video marketing, people tend to feel that they know you, and again that builds the ability for them to like you and trust you, and hopefully eventually do business with you. So it's like most social media, there's no instant gratification. It's a matter of working hard at it, and just being yourself essentially, and getting your message across there. Excuse me. I think the big thing with video is that people have the fear of talking in front of a camera and getting themselves out there in public, so to speak. But at the end of the day, it's a really critical part of marketing these days, and it's just something that you just literally have to bite the bullet and get over, and just get out there and produce videos. I mean, the good thing is that you can do everything these days with just your smartphone, and you can take as many takes as you like till you've got something that you're comfortable with putting out there. But that being said, you don't go overboard. Don't go for perfection. Perfection kills a lot of dreams. Just be confident that you're going to improve with time. So take a few cuts and get something that's reasonable and get it out there, and you'll be amazed at how quickly your skills and ability will grow in front of the camera. And the second part is where you provide value, and this is where video again is very helpful, and this is really the main area that we need to concentrate on with our video or YouTube marketing. This is where we can educate our audience to what we're trying to promote, get them to really understand the value that you're going to offer, and that you're going to be around for the long haul, and really concentrate when you produce your videos, concentrate on having an effective message that you want to get across. And this is normally done by letting them know something that they won't know. It's providing an answer to a question that they may be seeking, and we do this. We invest in ourselves by learning the skills, and then we can teach them to our audience. So the big thing here is to actually apply what you learn. And just getting back to the point of how the content that you're producing really needs to be able to provide value. And a good thing to have in the back of your mind is when you're producing a video, just try and think, is this going to be helpful to someone, and will they thank me for it? So if you are striving to produce some content that you're going to get thanked for, that's going to really keep you in the right frame of mind and get you producing quality content that your audience is going to be looking for. And leading on from there is pretty much how we choose the topics for our videos, and going back to that point of what I was saying about investing and learning and teaching. This is really the essential part of how we choose our videos, and particularly for the type of audience that I'm trying to attract is for the home business market, people that are either looking to start a home business, or they're already in the home business that they're wanting to learn how to get leads for and grow. So that's my target audience. So all the training that I'm doing for my own business, I take notes and listen with the intent to learn, so that you can share with others. That's the big thing here with your videos. So really concentrate on being able to share your knowledge with others. And there's always people that are just starting out. So quite often we get caught up with thinking, well, we don't know enough to start teaching it, and that's simply not the case. There's always someone at a level that is beneath you. And I don't mean that in a derogatory term, but it's just that they haven't learned the stuff that you have learned as yet. And so you don't have to come across as that you are the expert in the field. You can use terms like, I've just learned this from my mentor, and I really wanted to share it with you. And that's a great way, if you have that in mind while you're watching any of your training, think, how can I share this with my audience? And where I'm getting all my information from is learning a marketing system, and the MLSP is, I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard of it, or all of you guys have heard of that. That's a great platform, and I'll tell you more about that at the end of this webinar. But I get a lot of helpful information there. So they have wake-up calls daily. So again, that they're basically mindset related. So if you want to do a video post on what you'd learn on that wake-up call, that's a great idea. Any kind of webinars and training like this one we're doing here, you can take notes and again share with others what you've learned from this webinar. Books that you're reading, that's a great way of not only helping what you're reading sink in. If you take notes and again produce a video on something that you gleaned from a motivational book, that's a really good way of doing it as well. And then again, there's all the leaders' blog posts and even their emails. I'm sure if you're not doing it as yet, I strongly recommend that you subscribe to all the leaders in the niche that you are concentrating on and get on their mail list. You'll get a wealth of information delivered to you on a daily basis. You can see exactly what they're promoting, how they're promoting, and the wording that they're using. And obviously, if these guys are experts in the field, what they're doing is working. And I strongly suggest you emulate that as well. So, pay attention to what's around you. You'll be amazed at what you can learn, and then share accordingly. So the big thing with producing these videos is, once you've done them, is that you want to get people to engage with you, because again, YouTube is a social media, so we want people to engage with the content that we're producing. And the way we do this is with our keyword research, and this I can't stress strongly enough. This is something that you really want to get good at, and which basically means a keyword is something that your audience is searching for on either YouTube or Google. So YouTube is owned by Google, so those phrases pretty much rank accordingly within those search engines. So if you can tap into what people are actually searching for, then it's rather than finding a product and trying to then go and find the marketplace. By doing the keyword research first, we're finding the marketplace and then supplying the solution to that marketplace. So we do this by going into Google Keyword Planner. Now this is a free tool which you can, if you've got a Google or Gmail account, you can just log into it. If you go into Google and just search Keyword Planner, it'll be the first thing that comes up. You just can log into there with your Gmail account and can start searching. And I'll actually take you into this a little bit later on and just show you exactly what I'm talking about. And what a good idea is to do your keyword research just once a week. Pick your topics for the week, and then you can produce your videos either if you're still working and building your business part-time. You can do it on one of the weekend days, produce all your content for the week, and then just schedule the release of it over that week. While we're searching for these keywords, it pays to look for long-tail keywords. And what I mean by that is keywords that are made up of 3 words or more in the phrase. This just eliminates the competition. For example, if you're looking at a keyword, just to say keywords, a single word, there's going to be a lot of competition for that word. So if it was keywords for MLMs, for example, that phrase is going to have a lot less competition and it'll be a lot easier to rank. And by ranking, I mean it's going to be on the first page of Google, of YouTube or Google at least, and the higher up on that page you can get, the better, because let's face it, I'm sure if you've done the same thing when you've searched for a term, no matter what it is in Google or YouTube, you very seldom go through to the second page or the third page to see what else is there. You really want your answer to be found on that first page. So that's the power of doing the correct keyword research. And once you've done, once you're searching for those 3-word long tail keywords, you want to check out the number of the search volume, and you want that Google will tell you how many times that phrase is being searched each month. So you want to find keywords that are between 50 and 4,000 searches. You're going to find too, the more searches, the more competition for that keyword, and the harder it is going to be to rank. Not saying that it's impossible, but just when you're starting out, you want to make life as easy as possible for yourself and start getting those leads to come in, and so that you can get your business cranking. A good little tip to do when you look searching for the competition on your keyword that you selected in YouTube is if you put the keyword itself in the speech marks, as I've indicated here, as you can see with my mouse. That will give you the competition with using that exact keyword. If you do it without that, it'll give you phrases. I mean, it give you searches that just include the keyword within the phrase somewhere. But if you put in the speech marks, it's going to be particular to that keyword. So that's a good little tip just to work out the competition. So at the end of the day, what we're looking for here, we're looking for keywords that have the highest possible traffic. But I mean, I say 50 searches, you think, oh, well, that's not very much traffic. But you think if you have, say, 50 or 100 videos all getting that amount of traffic, if you get 10% conversion on that, that's going to be a good amount of traffic coming through to your business. So and it's going to be free leads. So you put in a bit of work at the beginning and get it right, and then you're going to get your traffic coming through and your leads for free. So it's well worth doing it right and doing it properly. So I just wanted to show you this. This is a screen capture of a page. Hopefully you guys can see this, but I was doing some research this morning, and just to show you guys that what I'm going to be showing you here actually does work. The keyword that I came up with was customized thank you cards, as you can see in the search tool there, and there's the #1 ranking video. And I'm not sure if you can see that down the bottom here. It was at 7:30 a.m. and on the 14th of the 7th. Now that's actually set at New Zealand time, so that's why we haven't actually quite got there yet. But the date, nonetheless, is what is important, because we'll see a bit later on when I show you how I produced the video based on that keyword and where it's sitting right now. So hopefully you can see all that. But as you can see here, why this phrase was a good one is that the videos that came up don't have that phrase in them in the name, not exactly as it's been searched. So it's going to give me a good chance of showing up, and because of my research, I know that that phrase is being searched on YouTube on a monthly basis. So once we've got our keyword, we need to understand our audience. And what I mean by that is that the keywords that we're selecting and the topics that we're wanting to produce our videos on is going to attract the correct audience that we want to bring into our business. So we have to have a clear understanding of what we're doing. So obviously if we're a plumber or an MLM business or an internet marketing business or some type of sales business, our keywords and our audience are going to be completely different people. So you need to have a clear understanding in your mind as to what what and who you're trying to attract. You need to consider things like, what do I want to be known for in this marketplace? If I'm a plumber, do I want to be known for a 24-hour service, a disaster call-out type service? How do I want to be seen? Am I the local family-friendly plumber? Just things in your mind. The more clarity you can get in your mind, the better understanding you'll have of your audience and the better search terms and keywords that you're going to be able to search for. And again, if you know, it just pays to understand the type of business model that you, are looking to build. For example, like myself, I'm building an MLM business. I'm looking for people that can duplicate and do what I'm doing. So the less technical, the better. So, and in saying that, this type of thing that I'm doing here is not very technical, as I mentioned before. It's all, I've been doing it for a short while, about 6 months now, and starting to get the results. So you can certainly take confidence in the fact that you don't have to be some whiz kid to be able to get this stuff to work. It's certainly not the case. So once we've decided on our audience, because there's 99% of the audience in any niche is going to be at the beginner level, and everyone has to start somewhere. So if we want to go for the biggest slice of the pie, so to speak, then that's going to be the beginner end, which falls perfectly into the strategy, because we're teaching as we go. So not only are we learning all the time, but our audience will grow as we grow, and they will require more information. And as long as you keep growing, you're going to be able to provide that information and grow your following at the same time. And it's always be mindful of people's time. Keep your videos short, simple, and to the point. Don't try and drag them out just for the sake of making a longer video. The thing to keep in mind too is that YouTube will rank or take into consideration ranking of your videos, the length of time that actually gets watched on your videos. So if people start watching your videos and you're waffling on and then they drop off, that's going to hurt your rankings. And even if you were up in the search engine, you're going to drop back if people aren't watching your videos all the way through. So SEO, I'm sure, is a term you've all heard, which basically stands for search engine optimization. And I heard a phrase that really gelled with me, and it's that providing value is the new SEO. So the more value you can provide, the easier it is going to be to get your videos to rank within YouTube. So always keep that in mind. Are you going to get a thank you for what you've just done? If we can strive for that, everything else will follow without doing anything else. So just keep that in mind. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the actual videos themselves. So once we've actually found our keyword, decided on our niche market, we need to consider what we need to do to produce our videos. And there's 3 key components to a video. And the first one being an introduction. And with the introduction, well, I'll just go through them all. So we need to get the introduction, and then the content, which is again where we provide all the value, and then our call to action at the end. So we'll look at all these in turn. With the introduction, you want to introduce yourself. Don't assume that everyone knows you because it's be the 20th or even if the 50th video that you've produced yourself, it might be the first one that your audience has seen. So introduce yourself, and just something along the lines of, I go in and say, hi there, my name's Clive Jeffrey. I'm coming to you today from my office in St. Augustine, Florida, and today I'm going to be talking about how to produce a webinar. So you have a question or a statement like that, and that way when you go into your content section of your video, you answer or deliver the message on that question. So we touch on a pain or an issue that the audience is going to be searching for, hence that keyword, and then we solve that issue. So, whatever we've chosen our keyword on is basically what we introduce at the beginning, and then we move on and we solve that problem for them in the content section. And this second part, the content section, is really where we want to be focusing. That should be the meat of the video, where we provide that solution or painkiller for the question we posed in the introduction. So, if it was, say, the plumber looking for people because he's on a overtime out-call type situation, he can provide how he can be called out within a quarter of an hour, even at midnight, how to do it. You can have all the contact details and information like that. So obviously with a video like that, you'd want to have it short and sweet so that people can get on with and getting touch with you. So as long as you stick to the message, but provide the value. So don't, just try and produce a video that's going to rank and for opt-in purposes. Really provide a solution to what the people have searched for, because then they'll come back to you, your particular channel, in the future if they know that they're going to get an answer to the question. Because essentially that search phrase or keyword, people are searching for that phrase because they're looking for an answer to something. So really keep that in mind. The last part of your video is where you have your call to action. This is where you want to keep it quite subtle, and you can just normally, I normally just verbalize it at the end of my videos, and just saying if they want to have more information on similar topics, for example, come and visit me at my blog, clivejeffrey.com, and you'll find the information there. So just something subtle like that. And then I have an outro which runs for about 15 seconds, and that'll have my email address, my contact details like phone number, and also my blog site as well. This is a new tip that I've just learned. I had heard that we should have these sitting for 30 or 45 seconds for people to take note of, because also once your video stops, it'll recycle and go on to other videos. So if you have that outro sitting on there, you'll have your information in front of your audience for that little bit longer. But this can also, as I just found out, work against you, because if people click off your video while your outro is just sitting there, that can be viewed by YouTube as your video being cut short, or your audience dropping off before the end of your video, so which is going to count against you in the ranking. So really keep that in mind, that you don't overdo it with your outro on the end of your videos. So some points to remember here is this, that YouTube is a very social platform as well. You really want to be conscious of the fact and take a long-term approach to it. So you want to subscribe to other people's video channels, and in your own niche, and just others in general, for whatever topics you like, comment on their videos and really interact, because that's another thing that YouTube will look at to see if you are using the channel the way they want you to. I've heard some stories of people who are really just concentrating on producing videos just for ranking purposes and to send people to affiliate links, and their channels have been shut down. So not only just videos on themselves, but their whole channel. So all their work is lost and their income essentially gone overnight. So you really don't, you want to be conscious of that from when you're starting your channel. Really set it up and work it the way YouTube wants you to do that. So it takes a few minutes each day just to like and subscribe to different channels, make the odd comment on them, because at the end of the day you want people to do that to your videos, and you'll find that actually how it works. So the more people you interact with, they'll interact with yours. Again, the value. I mean, you'll hear this term ad nauseum as you go around. No matter what channel or area you're working on in your business, you've got to provide value. And it goes without saying, if people aren't getting value, even if going into a restaurant or a paint shop, for example, if they're not getting value and service there, they're not going to be coming back. So just really keep that in mind. And then be consistent. As I say, it's not an overnight strategy. Any of the social media strategies, you've got to use the slide edge and compound effect and do it consistently over time. And each video you produce is like a little salesperson. That's what you've got to think, that you're basically just cloning yourself and have these little salespeople that work for you for nothing 24 hours a day, and they can be accessed from anywhere around the world. So if you do them right and answer questions that people are searching for, they're going to be a great source of leads for your business. So 4 major components to get your videos to rank. We've basically covered the first 2, which are, I guess you could argue, the most important. I think keyword research is, quite frankly, the most important, because at the end of the day, that's what people are searching for. So once you know what people are searching for, we provide the answer or solution to that search question. And if we provide high value high quality content, people are going to be glad they found it. They're going to learn to like and trust you, and then eventually do business with you. So we've pretty much covered those first two. The next, numbers 3 and 4, are on-page optimization and off-page optimization. And this is basically the unseen stuff behind your videos, and that's what gets them to rank. So we'll look at each of those in turn now. Now, on-page optimization, this is basically once you have your video on YouTube, you'll see below the video you have you can have a title for your video and a description. And you know, the old school style was basically get your keyword in there. In this example, is MLM tips, you know, and then the vertical line and 3 MLM tips that are proven to work. And again, you know, the concentrated keywords was designed to get your video to rank in the search engines. But as the search engines are getting smarter, they realize that, you know, that's not a phrase that would be spoken. You know, you would. Whereas if you look at a newer example down the bottom here, MLM tips that are proven to increase your success. That's a much more logical way that someone would speak, and the search engines are smart enough now to realize that. I mean, it's got our keyword in there, MLM tips, but it's not overdone, and you know, you're going to get a better long-term result by using that kind of strategy. We also have the facility in that description. We can actually produce an article that can handle up to 5,000 characters. So if you produce a high-quality, helpful article with, say, 500 to 600 words within that description, and again, optimized for SEO, which means that your keyword is mentioned through the article, but not overdone, you know, it's really going to help with your rankings. It's proves to YouTube that you seriously want to answer the question that to the keyword that's been searched by the audience, and that's going to keep YouTube happy with your videos and keep them up there long term. And that's essentially what we want, because you've done all the work producing the video. You might as well take the extra few minutes to do it properly and get your article in there, where it's going to provide more value to your audience, and as I say, keep your videos there for the long haul. There's another thing that we can use, which is timestamps. Now again, there's a lot of stuff we're covering here. As I say, this is a brief overview for beginners, and I will be producing or planning webinars on all these different items where we can go into detail about how to actually use them, incorporate them, and how to actually do them. That's what I wanted to give you a basic overview today. So use of timestamps, this is a great way to do it. Now, again, the old school people was taught that we just list the timestamps and what down in our description with what was happening at that particular point. But now the school of thinking is, if we actually have the timestamps within an article, and so you can be talking, and at 53 seconds you will hear me discuss about MLM tips, for example, just something along those lines, if you get my drift, rather than just a list of timestamps. So work the times into your article, and you can see these stamps just on the, you know, in yours, the back end of your video. Like I say, again, we'll go into this later on. Again, then the transcription clarity. Now, this is a big one that I had to learn because of my accent. The translation or the transcription that YouTube does of the video, that basically transforms your words into text. If there's particularly your keyword, if it's not written down clearly by the transcription software, it's not going to help with the search. When someone searches it, the search spiders go through it and they won't be able to pick it up. So it's definitely worth taking the time to go in and check the transcription clarity. The other thing, and again I'll show you a little bit more at the end of this webinar on how to select your tags. The tags there's a field at the bottom of your description where you can put tags, and these are words, keywords that are relevant to your video that just helps YouTube and Google bring your video to the attention of the audience who searches for those search phrases or tags, shall we say. And it's always a good school of thought to put your keyword for the video as the first tag, and then derivatives of that. So for example, if it is MLM tips, we put that as the first keyword, then you can put MLM as the next keyword, and then tips as the third keyword. Another good tip is to use your own name as one of the tags. Now the reason we do that is that on the right hand side of once you've watched a video, you'll see all those videos that YouTube suggests for you to watch along the right hand side. If your name is in the tags, YouTube will read that and see that, assume that all your other videos will be relevant to the audience as well. You're more likely to have all your videos showing up in the right hand column. So that's a real handy tip. You don't want them to, the last thing you want is when people stop watching your video, they get their attention is drawn to someone else. So that's a good way of keeping your videos from your channel in front of your audience. The next thing is keeping your URL from your video in the description. Now at the top in your search bar, you will see the URL of the video that you've just produced. Now just copy that and paste that in the bottom of your description and save it in there. The reason we do that is that there's a lot of software that sends spiders out to scrape software and use your text for their own SEO purposes. But if you have your video URL in there, you're always going to get the credit and push people back to your channel, which is great because you've done all the hard work, so you might as well take advantage of that. So that's all our on-page optimization, and now we want to get onto the off-page optimization. So this is essentially stuff that is not hard on our own video channel page. So this is the things that like backlinks, that type of thing, and links to other other social media channels. So I just want a main point to realize here is that your keyword research, the better you do at your keyword research, the less you're going to have to rely on backlinks and the like. So it really, not only does it pay to, basically every area of video creation comes down to your keyword selection, is essentially what I'm trying to say here. Now if you really want to put your concentration into that, and everything else will just be that much easier. Now once I'm sure you've noticed too, once you've produced your video, at the bottom of each video there's a whole bunch of little share functions that YouTube has there. Now these essentially are creating backlinks to your video, and YouTube obviously wants you to do this because that's why they've put them there, to make it easy for you. So if you produce your video, use those little share buttons to create links to all those different social media platforms. So I strongly recommend that you go ahead and produce yourself an account for each of those platforms. So once you produce your video, you can literally, right from that page, press the share buttons and you've instantly got yourself some good high quality backlinks to good authority sites like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the like. So can't recommend that enough. The other idea is to take your link and share it in forums in Facebook groups and other forums like Better Networker. But again, you don't want to be spammy. You want to just offer value, and if you've done everything correctly, people are going to appreciate you sharing. If you really answering and providing a solution to a problem that your audience is having. And 9 times out of 10, you would have found that you've produced a video because you were stuck on that particular point yourself and did some research and found the answer. So if you're looking for the answer, there's going to be plenty of people out there too. So that way you're providing value. Another good way, if you're chasing a keyword that's got a little bit more competition and you don't want to get bogged down with learning how to do all your backlinking yourself, you can go onto the sites like Fiverr and you can buy a gig to get a link pyramid built. I won't go into too much detail there, but it's essentially something that's going to really help you get your video not only in the rankings but hold it there as well over time, which is something obviously that we want to do. And then there's another great free tool which is called Ping Farm. Now this is basically, it alerts all the search engines that your video has just been launched. So all you do is you take your video URL, copy it into your clipboard, and then log on to pingfarm.com, and there's a place where you just paste your URL in and hit ping, and then it basically alerts all, as I mentioned, alerts all the search engines, and your video will start to rank. If we've done everything else correctly, it'll rank, very quickly indeed. So here, just to show you that if you do all these steps that I just spoke about, does it actually work? And then here's the actual proof. So here's my video that I spoke about, my customized thank you cards, and it's just there within 16 minutes, as you can see, of producing the video. There's the video that was at #1, and as on the date there, you can see that it's now saying 7:58, and it was 7:30 when I took that the screen captured prior to that. And as I say, it took me a while to obviously get the video sorted and ready to go, so that's why it says it's only been up for 16 minutes. But see, there on page 1 for that search, and that's a pretty handy and nifty result. So if you do this correctly, and as I say, that keyword research is key, excuse the pun, but can't stress it enough. So there, basically, that's all I have for you guys today. I'd love to invite you all to come and connect with me. You can find me on my blog site, clivejeffrey.com, and my Facebook, Clive Jeffrey, and my Twitter handle, Clive Jeffrey. So if you want to just take a note of that, I would love to connect with you and answer any other questions. I'm going to be heading back over to I'll get rid of the screen share here, and we can go and actually, I'll just quickly run through how we look at the keyword planner and walk you guys through that. So I'm just going to get away from here. If you guys should have had enough time to take note of that, and I will head back. Okay, now it's good to see you guys all back again there. Hopefully you guys got some value there. Now I'm just going to go put it on screen share again and take you through to the keyword planner, and just quickly walk you through that. Just 1 second. So hopefully you can see that screen. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here is, as I say, I'm hoping that you can see this now. We just go into Google and put keyword planner. And because I've got an account, I go straight in. As I say, if you've got a Google Gmail account, you can get a free Google AdWords account and log into Keyword Planner. So all we do is here, as we go into search for new keywords, go in there, and I'm going to put in our one that I chose before. Can't spell. Get ideas. Right, so what we want to do is go click on keyword ideas here, and there we can see, see that phrase that I chose, customized thank you cards. It has 480 monthly searches. So that's a really nice keyword. And as we saw, no competition. But now I just want to point out, ignore all this other data here. We're not worrying about that. That's if you're looking at producing Google ads, adverts. So don't worry about that at all. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to our searches. So all we want to worry about is the average monthly searches. So there it'll give you other ideas on what you can search for, different phrases, and again the monthly searches. Now just remember the point I said, like, thank you cards has 90,500 searches, but even though it's got it's a long tail keyword with 3 words in it, it's going to be a whole lot of competition chasing it because of all that search volume. So we want to work smart, not hard. So we want to go for this. Look at that, I've got 4 words in that, 480 searches. So even if I got 10% of that, wouldn't that be nice? And that's just one little video working for me. So if I search through and get a whole bunch of others that have low competition, now I'm going to get some good traffic coming through there for no cost at all. So that's just a way to do it. Now once you've actually got through that, now we will take that phrase and copy it, and then we go to YouTube. YouTube. And if we want to do a phrase, we put it in the speech marks as I mentioned, and that's going to give us the actual phrases, the number of searches or the videos with the exact keyword in it. And it's saying that there's only 5 keywords, and we're at number 1 apart from the paid ads above it. So that's how you go through and check the competition on the keywords. It's a bit of a laborious way to do it, but it's free, and it's it's well worth it, as I've proven. If you get that part of it correct, then you're going to really be able to get your videos to rank and get that free traffic, which at the end of the day is the purpose of the marketing for no matter what medium you're using. So in this case, YouTube. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, and it's pretty simple to use. You can just try lots of different keywords relevant to your niche. Now, one quick tip that I wanted to show you as well is what I told you about for looking for tags for Google. If you just go into Google and we'll place our search phrase or our keyword there again, customize thank you cards, we go click enter, and then if we scroll down here, all these are keywords that Google deems relevant to our search. So if I go in and one by one paste them into the tags section of my video, that's going to again because Google owns YouTube, and if that's what they think is relevant, then your video is going to, when anyone searches for something, one of these phrases, your video is going to get a chance of being presented as well. So that's another handy little tip there to keep in mind. Now, the good news is, as I head back to get off the screen share, there we go, is that there is some way to automate that search, and there's a very powerful little tool that you can use, which I use to do that, and it basically searches YouTube, and it presents you with a report with the actual number of searches for each search phrase, and you can basically download it as a spreadsheet. And so it gives you, not only if you just type in, say for example, customized greeting cards or thank you cards, it'll give you all the relevant searches on that term, the number of searches per month, and a column for the competition, so you can confidently go and produce videos without having to go through manually and do all the checking. So essentially it's a piece of software that does do all that for you. So it actually is a paid piece of software. If anyone is interested in doing it, I'm going to paste a link into the chat there, and if anyone wants to get it, they're more than welcome to click on the click through and go and check out the software. There's a trial period, so you've got nothing to lose. you know, you get I think it might even be a 60-day money-back guarantee. It's not my product. I just use the product and thoroughly recommend it. So well, just 1 second, I'll just get it for you. Sorry guys, just bear with me. There we go. There's the link, guys. So that, if anyone's interested in having a play with that tool, as I say, there's a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you really got nothing to lose. Now, if you go and produce some videos, you're going to make your money back fairly smartly with that. So, if anyone has any questions, please just paste them into the chat box there, and I'll answer them as best I can. Christine, no, they don't have to set up an actual campaign. No, if you've just logged in, you shouldn't be asked you shouldn't be asked to actually set up a campaign. There's no need to do that. Okay, so no other questions. I hope you guys have got some value out of that. Well, thank you very much, Dan. I really appreciate the kind words. Yeah, the videos are under 3 minutes. You know, if you just think about yourself, you should be able to answer enough of, unless you're doing a special broadcast, you know, you want to keep them short. People have very short attention spans, and that's what I've found is that under 3 minutes is probably the perfect length in time. People, you know, just don't sit through and watch for longer than that. They want instant gratification. So that's where you can you know, lead them off to your blog or something to get more information. But you know, so you're still engaging them and to go to some more of your stuff. So if you keep them short, under 3 minutes, you know, that's really worthwhile doing. Yes, Tom, I do concentrate on the main keyword of the video. That's what I've been doing because that's what I want my video to rank for, just that keyword. It is, yeah, if there's other keywords you want to work on, I'd make a separate video for each keyword. You're just going to have a far better, stronger result and a more targeted audience. You know, you want to be very specific for this type of marketing. BJ, sorry, I'm not following your question. Which company? As I say, it's not my tool. If that's what you're referring to, the tool is a third-party product that I've been using, and it's all the information is there on the link. Yeah, I'm certainly not promoting anything on my own. It's, as I say, it's nothing to do with me. It's just a tool that I've found that has been. I know people that have used it. I know Tom has used it as well. He's had great results with it, and he's shown graphs of his viewers going up with the uses that he's had from it too. So it's not only the success that I've had it. I just thought I'd just show that video just to show that it does actually work. So good stuff, guys. So it looks like there's no more questions coming through. As I say, hopefully you've got some value from that, and I would love everyone to come and connect with me if you haven't already, and look out for my next training. Thanks very much, guys.